Hey, it's the EDC Squirrel, and I've got a special day today. It's new knife day. Uh, but it's a little different than your typical new knife day. And I'm about to show you why. So, here we go. This was an Amazon. Ooh, I'm gonna get all this stuff on me. This was an Amazon purchase, and like I said, it is new knife day. However, what I got here, get rid of that, is, well, it doesn't really tell you a whole lot. Here we are. This is the JIN 006 RBK Rhino FK kit in black. Okay. So this is a kit. There we go. Hey. Okay, I'm going to end up tripping over these boxes. 1 second. Okay, so we've got the JIN Build Your Own Knife pocket knife kit. Now let's open this up, see what we got inside. Yeah. We got our instructions for the Rhino knife kit, parts lists and everything. We even get tools. Nice. We have, looks like, a couple springs, 2 different size springs from the looks of it. We have our tool set and our scales. You got what I'm guessing is a T6 and a T8. We got our pocket clip. Looks like we have a bit of knife oil. Do not drink this oil. We'll definitely try not to. We got a microfiber cleaning cloth. We've got our blade and looks like our I forgot what you call that. Got our scales, our liners. Pretty sure that's liners. Yep. Our liners and our blade. Pretty cool. Caution sharp edge. Already sharpened. There's our screws, our little internals. Looks like we got more springs. We've got some ball bearings. And it should be 2 in there. And looks like thumb posts. Okay. There we go. So what we are going to do, I get all this stuff out. I should have probably left that in there. We're going to try to put this sucker together. And these should be G10 scales. Pretty grippy. They feel like G10s. What do we got here? Right scale, left scale, captive pivot. Looks like we got everything. Cleaning cloth. Yay. All right. So we will be this is going to be the first time I'm doing this. Putting my very own knife together. This is awesome. I'm already excited. This was, I think at the time of this video, I'd like to say it was just under 34 bucks on Amazon. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, $32.99 on Amazon. I'll have a link below so you can check it out. And they've got a few others as well. They have different, what do you call that? Like they have a satin blade. I got the stonewash blade. And then they have one with natural color G10 scales, which is kind of like a jade color. Or maybe it's just jade color. I don't know if it's natural or not. And looks like the jade color is like $1 more, but otherwise the other two, $32.99. And called the Rhino. And I think they had like 2 or 3 different types. They had one with a longer blade and whatnot. But I saw this while I was doing my random stare at knives I couldn't afford thing and stare at knives I wanted to get thing. I came across this kit and I could not ignore it because I have a hard time ignoring anything that's sharp and pointy and shiny. Okay, so let's get started with this. Now, if you're curious about anything that you see on screen, if it's available on Amazon, I'll have a link below. Cool little cutting mat to protect my cool little table, which is also on Amazon. I do a lot of Amazon shopping. Okay, so to begin with, looks like we are going to put our liners into our scales. Okay, so what we got here, to make sure I get the right one. And looks like we got this side. This is technically it looks like this is the right scale. Although it looks very different. I'm confused. Anyway. Okay. And the captive pivot liner. That's what we're looking at. Let's take a look at this side. According to the instructions I have here. There you go. You guys can see that now. All right. Okay, I think I got the right one. If I seem shaky, I'm super excited about this. Never done this before. This is awesome. Okay, so we just put the liner in. Guessing this way. There we go. And then we need to be putting in what looks like our posts and screws with the green. They say specifically the green tool, or they show specifically the green tool. Place the captive pivot liner with the D-shaped pivot hole onto the designated groove on the right scale. This looks like the left scale to me, but anyway. Add the standoffs onto the liner and screw them by tightening the screw. Oh, this is the T6. Okay, so we got to get our standoffs and T6 screws. These are going to go in. Okay, this is why I need the box. These are probably going to go every the hell where. So we are going to do this. There we go. And we got, let's see. These are our, hopefully I'm doing this right. These are our standoffs. And how do these go up on there? I think they look pretty much the same either way. So we'll drop one standoff here. Actually, you know what? We gotta find our T6 screws first. I'm thinking this might be the best way to do this. Let's put this there. Okay, that is definitely a T6 screw. So what we're gonna do is we're first gonna put the screws in. That's one. I'm gonna mess this up so bad. I should have grabbed both. Okay, and there's the other one. Can I grab both, or are they fell apart? Okay. Whoa. Let's try to do this without completely losing our screws. Where'd the other one go? Where does that one go? That goes... Okay, I see the hole. That's what she said. We will put this one right there for now. Grab a standoff so we can get these things to stay together, and then we'll deal with the other screw. So let's get that screwed in. I like to back off the screws a little bit till I feel them settle, so I'm not cross-threading anything. And then there we go. Not super tight. And we got to get our other standoff. Where are you? Okay, we've got our other standoff. We'll put that there. There's our other screw. My fingers feel like they're way too fat for this. That's not the right hole. That's what she said. Okay, there we go. That's the right hole. And we'll get that screwed in. I hope you guys are getting this all on camera because I can't see the screen. I can only hope. Let's back that off a little bit until I feel it settle. There we go. And then that's in there. Awesome. Okay, we got our standoffs in. Excuse me. Now we're going to get our D-shaped, what is that? Insert pivot screw through the pivot hole in the scale. Sure thing. It's this post, I'm guessing. This one here. And that's going to fit like so, I hope. Am I looking at this right? Yep, I think so. Let's hope so. Okay. And they have their oil, JIN knife oil. I've got mine. I'm not going to bother opening that right now. Well, you know, let's use their stuff. I was going to say I have my own stuff. KPL original pivot oil, but we will use all their stuff. We've got JIN's knife oil. Lubricate knife joints, reduces friction, and do not drink. Actually, quite a generous amount of oil too. I don't think I'm going to be using all that. Okay, they got a little cap. Remove that. Put that off to the side, and we got a little. Oh, and there goes the label. Well, now we don't know what kind of oil this is at all, but hopefully I'll remember. And then that, I hope, is on there securely. Otherwise, this is going to be a hell of a mess. This should be interesting. Okay. I think that's on there securely. Nope, it's not on there securely. Maybe you can hear a snap. Oh, there we go. That's on there securely. Okay, we'll cover that for now. Okay, so we need a bearing. Ball bearing thingy. If I can grab it. There we go. Move this scale off to the side. Okay, so we got our pivots, we got our pivot screw through the pivot hole here. And that looks like the right, I'm going to totally lose all those screws. That looks like that is the right photo, or the right hole in the photo. Okay, so we will put that on there carefully, and then we will add a few drops of oil to it. So 1, 2, we'll do 3. 3. That looks good. Okay, so we did that. Now insert the lock button into, what the hell? The recess of the blade. Okay, so we need the blade for this point. Where is the blade? There we are. Cool little blade. Let's call it, I think that's a sheep's foot. This is where I totally cut myself apart. Oh, it's got a little plastic cover to it, so that's kind of cool. Let's get this out here. Excuse me, my throat. Okay. This is a, oh, here we go. This is a 9CR 18 MOV steel blade. Not a bad blade at all, especially for the cost. I mean, considering that this is only $33. I'm glad it's not like, I don't know, some unknown, or, you know, that they actually put the type of steel on there. So we've got the blade, and let's put these in here before they disappear. We need to put in what they said, the lock button. And what does the lock button look like? The lock button is that Looks like a barbell. So I got so many empty plastic bags all over this table now. I should consolidate these somehow so they're not flying everywhere. There's a box. I have a box around here somewhere. There we go. Let's make sure there's no parts in there. Everything's empty, and then this can go in the box. So I can clear up my workspace a little bit. Excuse the coughing. Okay, so we get our lock button. Now, it looks like the thicker part of the lock button is going to be towards the bottom. So we got the thicker part of the lock button. We're going to put this in the recess of the blade, and it goes like so. And then this, place the blade onto the scale, aligning the button snugly within the buttonhole. So put the buttonhole snug into the buttonhole. Okay, there we go. So we're going to put this on the pivot and the there we go. Got to make sure it's in the buttonhole. That is in the buttonhole. Okay. And then I'm missing something. What am I doing? Okay, no. I got it. I'm good. Okay, so we got the blade into the scale, aligning the buttonhole snugly, or aligning the button snugly within the buttonhole. Now place the other ball bearing over the pivot. Okay, so we got our second ball bearing. This is another thing that's really cool. It's even running on ball bearings, not just washers or whatever. So, provided everything's done well, it should be pretty smooth in operation. Okay, so we're going to put a few drops of oil on this one. 1, 2, and 3. All right, I'll cover this up because I think that's all we're going to need. And now we got to position the stop pin in its place. Okay, the stop pin is this unthreaded bar of metal, and then that's going to go into a little depression right next to the stop button, and that should nestle in right there. Let me make sure that's nice and straight. That looks like that's good. Okay, so that's nestled in there. Now we're going to flip this over. Now we're going to take our other scale, fold the blade into the scale. Okay. Fold the blade into the scale. There we go. And position the standard liner with a circular pivot hole. Hope I'm doing this right, because they all look pretty circular to me. Over the hole, pivot hole over the blade. So that's going to go. That should fit in all the parts. There we go. And I still got the plastic whatchamacallit in there. Did that fit right? I hope it did. Okay. Now, insert this. Okay. Insert the spring into the button. Position the left scale, secure it by tightening all the screws. Okay, now we've got 2 types of springs here. It looks like, I don't know if are they the same? Are they different? They're They are totally mating right now. I should have tons of springs by the end of spring. That was bad. That was a bad daddy joke, and I should feel bad. Okay, these are totally mating. How the hell do I get these apart? There we go. Wait, how many springs do I have? 1, 2. Oh, look, they did have a baby. 2 and 3. Okay, so I don't know. Let me remove that bag. I don't know if they're different. Oh god, I knew I was gonna lose one. I knew it. I knew it. There went my table. Okay, 1 sec. Well, I try to figure out where this one went. Damn thing rolled off my belly. Now, we do have a plethora of screws, so I don't think we're going to have too much trouble in regards to, like, you know, being able to put a screw in. I would have just liked to not have lost one. Okay, well, it's around somewhere. Thankfully, we have like 20 billion screws left. Or, I mean, am I saying screws? I'm talking about springs. And there looks like there's 2 different types of springs in this bag, too. Okay, I think all 3 of those springs were the same, now that I'm looking at them. But this one has 2 different types. One's longer than the other. And I don't know if that means that the longer one is stronger. Because if that's the case, I'd almost be inclined to use the stronger one. But that's me. Will that fit in there? Yes, it does. Okay. I will have to find that other spring before I step on it at some point. I have magnets. We'll be fine. Okay. Either way, I'm going to try to use this longer spring. So I don't think there's a use for more than one spring on this one. Nope, there's not. So we're going to use that longer spring. So I think that spring is strong. I'm trying to figure out if it's stronger or not. It feels like it could be stronger. I don't know why they have two different springs. Unless they're just giving you a chance to utilize, or your choice of button strength. And okay, so we got that. Now we got to carefully place the next scale on top. That spring is going to go into a depression inside the scale. Let's see, make sure that's where you guys can see it. There's a depression in that scale where that spring's going to have to sit. So let's make sure that's in there. Press that down. Okay, we got that held. Looking good so far. I like it. Okay, so we got that positioned in there. And then we've got to, there's the protective cover. Now we just got to screw the scale into place. We've got the pivot screw and then the 2 T6s. I believe. Let's see here. I want to make sure I'm using the right screws. T6 is green. We'll start with this one here. Okay, I felt that lock in or settle. Okay, that's in. I'm just doing them finger tight right now. And then we've got one in the back here. Let's make sure. Oh, and these screws that I'm using on the liners, I should have probably pointed it out. You have two different types of screws. You've got a screw with kind of a roundish edge to it. I don't know if you guys can see that. But if you look, it's got a kind of roundish edge. That's what I'm using for the liners, because I know for the pocket clip, we'll probably want to use these. You got two of these, and these have a thinner, flatter edge to them. I should have probably pointed those out. So going back to the rounder screws, we're going to put that over here. I should let my nails grow a little bit. It would have been easier. Oh, whoa, whoa. We are not losing a screw. I should have lined this place with magnets. Okay. Let's get that screw to settle in. There we go. Get that finger tight. Nice. And then we will do the pivot screw. That is going to be this really top heavy screw. I'm pretty sure this is also a T6. Yep. I would have preferred a T. Oh, no, that's a T8. There we go. Back that up, settle, and it's in. So tighten that up, finger tight. There goes the blade cover. We'll put that off to the side now. Okay, so we've got that in there. Now, before we futz with this, I'm going to go ahead and put the, what do you call that? Put the pocket clip in. Now, I'm a righty, so I'm going to put it on this side. If you were a lefty, you'd put it on the other side. That's another cool thing I didn't mention. This is an ambidextrous knife. So we'll put it on this side because I like the blade, or the blade to open, or when it's in my pocket, I like the blade to go or to face the back. And this is where we will use the flat screws. Oh, and it looks like, well, that's kind of neat. You got a little lanyard hole right above where you'd screw these in. So let's go ahead to make this a little easier. We're going to put one of these screws on the inside hole. My eyesight, as I get older, is getting more and more horrible. Okay, these should be T6s, I think. I prefer T8 screws. I think everybody tends to prefer T8 screws because T6s tend to be easily stripped. So that's why I'm being very careful as to how tight I place these or screw these in. And I'm also very careful that I back them out, let them settle before screwing them in all the way. Okay, that didn't take a whole lot of screwing. That's what she said. There we go. She said a lot. Okay, we got one in. We'll get the other one in. There we go. Get that finger tight. Pocket clip is on. And then, now, if you like thumb holes, I guess you can just leave it at that. But personally, I think they're kind of like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of thumb holes. They're okay, I guess. I might have had this a little too tight. Let's back this off. Yeah, there we go. Adjust this. So there we go. Might have screwed that pivot screw a little too tight. Thankfully, just adjust it by loosening or tightening the screw. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of thumb holes, and this is not the biggest thumb hole. Thankfully, this comes with thumb studs, And then we just have to, and we can also adjust where they go up on this thing. They can go anywhere in this hole. So all we have to do is probably just place it up against the back here. Oops, this is where I lose everything. And then screw this together. There we go. Screw those two together. I don't know if I can use, oh yeah, I can use a T6. So to tighten that down, we'll just use this one. And I gotta hold the other one. That should be nice and tight. Now we got thumb studs. I think that blade is still a little tight. There we go. There we go. No, that's good. No movement. Oh, hold on. A little movement. If I tighten that up. And you got a front flipper as well. So you got a thumb hole, thumb stud, if you want to remove the studs, and you got a front flipper to actuate the blade. Button lock seems really, really strong. Excuse the coughing again. Trying not to do this while cutting off a finger. There we go. Nope, button lock is solid. In fact, it seemed almost too solid because it was locking the blade up. But that cleared up nicely. I don't know if it just had to get worn in or if it's settled in weird or what. But now it's working perfectly fine. Locks in the open position. And I'm not the best with front flippers. Yeah, I'm not the best with front flippers. I'm a little better with a thumb stud. So that's pretty cool. You got 4 ways if you take the thumb studs off of opening this. You get the thumb studs, the thumb hole, and the front flip, as well as the button itself. That's pretty cool and pretty okay detent. I mean, we're talking a $30 knife here that I just put together in a kit. That's pretty good. That's pretty cool. I like it. Let's see how, let me clean this up. Where's that cloth? Let's clean the blade up. My sweaty hands. Oh my God, that cloth is bright. Let's clean that off. Make it nice and shiny. There we go. Blades. But this one is a 2-inch handle, so this will be safe anywhere. This one's a 2-inch blade. Again, it is a 9CR 18 MOV blade steel, stone washed. Looks stone washed. Scales, G10 scales. Feels really good. Ceramic ball bearings. Those are the ball bearings we put in there. Again, kind of surprised at the ceramic ball bearings because that's just a really nice feature to have. It makes it really smooth. I like that. Nice and smooth. That's nice. You can see the oil also helps with the ball bearings. And also the oil will help it stay nice and clean as well. Not to mention fights corrosion. And if a knife is going to start rusting, now this is stainless steel, but if a knife does end up starting to rust, more often than not, it's going to start in that pivot area because it's kind of a trapped area. So you always want to make sure you have a couple drops, a drop or two of oil in that pivot area to prevent it from rusting there. Because you can wipe off any moisture from the outside of the blade, but unless you take it apart regularly, it's kind of hard to clean in there. The oil will help. But let's take a look at how sharp this is. Okay. Now, I haven't sharpened the blade any, and there goes my magazine. Oh, that's sharp. That is nice. Throw that out. I still do have to find that one spring. I will find it eventually. Thankfully, like I said, you get like 20 billion of them. Oh, I think one of these is even a short spring. So never mind, you get like 3 sizes? I think. Anyway, let's put all these in there. Okay, so we have extra springs, which is not a bad thing to have. We'll put that cover away. And no extra screws from the looks of it. That's fine. Knife oil, which if you have this kit, more than likely you probably have a number of knives. And so they give you a decent amount of knife oil in the kit, which is pretty cool if you don't already have some. You get your tools, cleaning cloth, instructions. Where's the box? Pretty damn cool kit. I cannot complain. The coolest part about this is being able to look inside and see how a pocket knife works. In this case, how a button lock is put together. Obviously, there might be differences between different manufacturers, but you know, your standard button lock's pretty much going to be the same. Decent knives or blade steel for the price. G10 scales, nice and grippy. I believe this is stainless steel pocket clip. Ambidextrous, which is also a huge plus for those lefties out there. And looking at it again, looks like that blade is seated well in center. Yeah, perfect. Wow. That's pretty damn cool. Checking to see if like is the blade hitting any of the standoffs? Is it doing something, you know, it shouldn't be doing, or like hitting somewhere it shouldn't be? Doesn't appear to be. The button actuates nice, locks up immediately once the blade's fully open. Excuse me. And even with that pivot screw tightened all the way down, you got a lot of free movement once you're holding the blade or holding the button down. Nice lock. This would actually, wouldn't they call that a harpoon point? Or, because you got a little back up there. I don't know what they would call that. Harpoon? Like a chubby, short harpoon? A chubpoon? I don't know. That didn't sound right. Don't ever repeat that word. But I am impressed. I'm also surprised I didn't knock this freaking camera all over the place. Didn't realize everything was so crooked now. Okay. So crooked, and yeah. Oh, well, whatever. Okay, so this is the JIN Rhino small pocket knife button lock EDC DIY kit 2-inch blade. And again, there's a stonewash version, which is what I purchased. They have a satin blade version, and they also have a jade scaled version, jade colored version, which is $1 more. So this one in the satin blade, $32.99. at the time of this video on Amazon, $33.99 for the jade scale version. And I will have links below. I'll have affiliate links below for this blade if you want to check it out yourself. I'll have affiliate link. You know what? Everything on the table I'll have affiliate links for. Because reasons. But yeah, I am impressed. This is really, really pretty cool. And considering the fact that I know it's a kit, it's not like I hammered the metal myself, but I put this thing together all by myself. All on my lonesome. And it works. And the surprising bit is it works good. It works well. And it's probably the only front flipper I have. I have one other front flipper knife. I'm not very good at using it. This one, though, this one I can actually do. This is a very fidgety knife. I like it. This is an impressive little kit. Definitely check it out. And again, not very expensive at all. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. Thank you for visiting the channel. Thank you for checking this out. Hopefully I'll have more videos soon to share, box openings and everything. If you want to support the channel, like I said, I'll have affiliate links below in the description for any of the items you see on the table, including the cutting mat. Hell, I'll even throw in one for the table. And obviously the knife itself. And if you purchase through that link, it'll help me out a little bit. And that's pretty much it. Thanks again for visiting. If you liked what you saw, please drop a like down below. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe. And also don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when the next video drops. So thanks again. You guys are awesome. And hope to see you again in the next video. Bye-bye.